Welcome to the latest edition of the Spring Sports Roundtable from the fabulous Broadcast Center, 101 North Queen Street in Lancaster, and brought to you by Penn Medicine, Lancaster General Health, Sports Medicine. There, I said it.
All right.
We begin tonight with, we've got video, we've got stuff, we've got content. We're going to turn to John Walk to set up that content. John, lacrosse writer of LNP, LancasterOnline.com. Take it away.
All right, so we went out to Ephrata girls lacrosse practice last week. Two things you should know before we go into the video. One, Ephrata started the year 3-0, which is notable. It's a long struggling program. I've been going back through the archives. They've had no more than 6 wins in a season through at least 2008. They already have 3 wins this season. And one more win will match all of last year's wins, so they're off to a good start. Secondly, the main reason we went out there, just this past Monday, they played what is called the annual avidum game. Avidum is a suicide prevention awareness student-led group. It started at Cocalico in 2004. Now hundreds of groups across the state at schools throughout Pennsylvania. Among the founding members of that group at Cocalico back in 2004 was Maggie Carden, now Maggie Myers. Maggie Myers is now the Ephrata girls lacrosse coach. So Ephrata played at Cocalico on Monday for the annual avidum game. So those two things in mind, let's go out to Ephrata Mountaineers, talk about their hot start and what avidum is and how you guys can support it if you're interested. So with that, we'll go out to Ephrata. What do you kind of credit to at least a good start to this group?
So our girls have, it's all them. They put in the work. We played in 2 different winter leagues. We met twice a week. We did conditioning with Brant from Ephrata Strength and Conditioning. He trained them twice a week leading up to the season for 5 weeks, and they put in the work, and it's showing.
I think you guys lost like 2 of your top 4 scorers from last year, but that hasn't seemed to stop you. How have you kind of, beyond just you, have you guys been working together a lot as a group over the offseason? What's that look like?
I truly believe we've really gelled this season and became one. We haven't just had one star here and there. We've came together, and I feel like we've all used our talents in different ways to come together.
I was looking back through the numbers, at least through 2012, this team has always finished below 500. Through 3 games, you're 3-0, seemed to be off to a really special season. Does it feel like that for you? Yeah,
for sure. We're all super excited to be here and see our success.
Is there any talk of like, okay, you guys coming up these last few years of, hey, 2022, this is going to be our year, let's try to get that winning record?
Yes, for sure. We definitely have a lot more confidence coming into this year, and we have a lot of well-known, well-rounded players, and we're excited to use them all.
Let's work backwards, and if you just kind of quickly walk me through how avidum came about and kind of how it's grown since then.
Okay, so avidum started with the suicide of my only sibling, Philip. I was at the time only in 6th grade, and there were a couple high school students that were just angry that nothing was being done. They wanted to do something, and they didn't know what to do, so they went out in search of an organization to attach onto, and they found that there was nothing. There was no mental health group targeted at K-12, so they made one. And it started as AHH, a different name, and it evolved into avidum, which is a made-up word that means I've got your back. And we spread it when I was in high school. We were just at Cocalico till I was in high school, 10th grade. When I was in 10th grade, we went to Hempfield High School, and they had 100 kids sign up on the spot. And then it's just we've been walking our way across the state and outside the state. We're in over 300 school districts, which is awesome. And now it's really a student-led organization. We get the message from mental health experts. We put it in the students' hands, and they create amazing things. It's just a really cool thing, and it's something that my family and both communities have embraced.
All right, thanks to Ephrata. And by the way, that Monday game, both teams sold and wore these specially designed avidum shirts, collected about $500, which goes to avidum student group, either at Ephrata or Cocalico, I'm not sure, so congrats to them. Let's stay in lacrosse. I'll stay on the girls' side. Through the first 10 days, I'll say at the start of this week, teams Manheim Township, Hempfield, Lampeter, Strasburg, Ephrata, Warwick, all 2-0 league, combined 16-6 overall. The rest of the teams in LLE girls lacrosse coming into the week were all under 500, a combined 1-18. So Township, Hempfield, LS, Ephrata, Warwick are all probably your teams to watch there. Cocalico did top Ephrata this past Monday just to kind of get their first win, get their feet wet per se. Big game coming up in girls lacrosse this coming Friday. Lampeter Strasburg goes to Ephrata. LS is off to a hot start. Curious how Ephrata will bounce back after learning in defeat at Cocalico on Monday night. In boys lacrosse, a couple victories worth noting here. Manheim Township this past Saturday, they welcomed North Allegheny, the defending District 7 Whippeal champ from last season. Township goes up big. They hang on for a 14-12 win, so the Blue Streaks are off to a hot start there. We still got to wait about another week or so until Manheim Township and Hempfield clash for the first of at least 2 times this season. Another big game coming up. I'll be at this one Wednesday night in boys lacrosse. Lampeter Strasburg at Conestoga Valley, 7:30 start. The top 2 teams in Section 2, first of 2 regular season meetings. It's going to go a long way to proving the Section 2 champion there. Both teams are off to a hot start. So that's a quick recap for me from lacrosse, boys and girls.
Let's
talk baseball.
I'll talk a little softball.
Softy.
LL softball. Dave Field-to-Burn is our guy in this sport, but he can't be with us, so I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on softball. The interesting thing that's going on here is that there is a kind of a dynasty in our league, Lampeter Strasburg, defending state champions, and they look a little vulnerable so far early in the year. New coaching staff, and they already have a loss, which is they already have a loss in the section to Elizabethtown. That was a 4-3 game on Monday, and also last week they had a 1-0 game with Conestoga Valley. Pitcher's duel in which the only run was a solo home run by Kiva Middleton,
the pitcher,
who is LS's pitcher, headed for Lock Haven, by the way. She's committed to Lock Haven. CV has a pitcher, a kid named Rhiannon Henry, who's been very good. So they've been playing everybody tough. Everybody in that section, Section 2, has a loss except Solanco, which has a pitcher named Anna Sexton, who looks really good so far. They had a really dramatic game with Ephrata the other night that Dave actually covered.
Yes.
6-5 win on the last out of the game, and other than that, they really haven't allowed any runs at all. Solanco, I'm talking about. So maybe LS. It's still early, but maybe they're not the dominant monster that they've been the last couple years. In Section 1, I don't know if you remember last year, we talked a lot about how many runs Penn Manor scored. What a great offense they had and how much power they hit with. They're 4-0. They've already beaten in the section Warwick, Hempfield, and Township. So they're in really good shape in Section 1. And they seem to be better at the run prevention half of the game this year. They've got a couple of pitchers, kids named Julie Bowmaster and Emily Riggs, and they've been pretty good. Section 3, Northern Lebanon and Manheim Central undefeated, and they're going to play each other in about an hour from now, as I speak, in Fredericksburg. This is Tuesday. That was a game that was moved up from last night from Wednesday night because they were anticipating rain on Wednesday. Section 4, Lancaster Catholic undefeated. They have a loss overall. They got bombed by Penn Manor. That was their loss. They look like the class of Section 4, honestly, in baseball and in softball, but we'll get to baseball in a couple of minutes. That's what I've got on softball. And again, we will have the esteemed Dave Byrne in here to talk in some detail about that sport at some point.
Nice.
Now we turn to volleyball and our volleyball writer, the estimable,
good word,
Jeff Reinhardt.
Hello. Emily Riggs, basketball player and arguably the top softball kid in the league. She's great. Third base. She's going D1. I didn't realize she was pitching, but she's really good. Okay, volleyball. All right, let's start here. Warwick. Hello, Warriors. Last Saturday was the Bobcat Invitational. There's 3 or 4 heavy-duty, terrific early season tournaments.
Right.
Bobcat Invitational was this past Saturday. 40 teams in the field. All of them are great. All of them will be in districts later. All of them will go for state titles later. Second year in a row, Warwick made the semifinals. Won their pool, got all the way through. Garden Spot was in it. Manheim Central was in it. Hempfield was in it. Warwick got further than any of them. So Warwick goes to the Final Four. They lost to Central Dauphin. CD was in the state finals last year in 3A. They're really good. And then CD went on to beat Lower Dauphin, another District 3 team, in the championship. But still, Final Four at the Bobcat is really good.
In this sport, there's just 3A and 2A, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
3 and 2.
Yeah.
And Lower Dolphins kind of been the 2A here the last couple of years. Mannheim Central, Garden Spot, Lancaster Mennonite will challenge there later. But good for Warwick, because Warwick's got a big week coming up. Okay, Section 1, at the start of the week, 4 teams were undefeated. Remember, we're only a week in,
Yeah.
so it's not like anybody's played 10 matches or anything. Cedar Crest, Hempfield, CV, Warwick, all unscathed to start the week. 2 big matches on Tuesday night as we sit here. Cedar Crest at Warwick, both undefeated. Hempfield at CV, both undefeated. So the ties will be snapped here early in the week on Tuesday. Thursday is the big match. Warwick at Hempfield. 2 best teams going here. All respect, Garden Spot, Mannheim Central, Mennonite, etc. Warwick and Hempfield have met in the last 2 championship matches for league supremacy. Hempfield won them both. But this has turned into the juiciest rivalry in the league. Warriors, Black Knights, oh my. They'll play for the first time Thursday at Hempfield. Got to see Hempfield last week play Penn Manor with the 2 new coaches, Kemmerer at Penn Manor, and Iser at Hempfield. Hempfield beat Penn Manor 3-0, but the Comets really pushed them. It was 25-20, 25-20, 25-23, 26-24. It was a really good match. I was impressed with Penn Manor. They're going to surprise some people. We'll see how that goes. But again, 4 undefeateds as of Tuesday afternoon. That's all going to change on Tuesday night. Warwick at Hempfield on Thursday. Circle it. I believe our very own Steve Navaroli will be covering that match.
God love him.
God love him. Okay, Section 2. 3 teams start the week undefeated. Garden Spot, Mannheim Central, Elizabethtown. Good start for the Bears. Some things will change this week. Huge week for E-Town on Tuesday night. E-Town gets Garden Spot. That's huge. Thursday night, E-Town gets Mannheim Central. So Bears get the other 2 section front runners this week. Big match is Tuesday night. I'm going to go to this. Mannheim Central at Lancaster Mennonite. My first look at the Barons. Saw Mennonite last week. They lost a great match over at Garden Spot. Season opener for both of them, section opener. Mennonite jumps up 2-0. Bang, they got Garden Spot on their heels. I'm like, whoa. And then Garden Spot comes flying all the way back, 2-0. You're like, okay, 2-0, quick night. Here we go. And wow, Spartans were great. And they came back and won 3-2. So a lot kind of going on. There'll be some separation here early Tuesday and Thursday for sure with these teams. One kid I want to mention, Keegan Redkay for Garden Spot. The one spot that Garden Spot had to replace this year, big time, was setter. Jordan Martin last year was terrific. Section 2 MVP, District 3 All-Star, PVCA All-State setter. Wow. He was great. Quarterbacked the team, league semis, district semis, state semis, section champs. Jordan Martin was great, fabulous. You got to have a setter. Got to have it. Like in softball, got to have the ace pitcher. Right, sure. Volleyball, you got to have a setter. Yep. So Garden Spot had to replace Jordan Martin. In steps Keegan Redkay, and he's been really, really good. Check these numbers. Last week against Mennonite in the 3-2 win, he had 54 assists. That's really good. That's some good swinging.
That's good swinging, baby.
That's good swinging, but you gotta put the set right on the money. So yes, Laukoff, Lambert, and that whole crew were great against Mennonite. Had a lot to do with Redkay. It was really good. They Garden Spot turns around Thursday night, plays Ephrata, good little backyard rivalry scrap game. Win that one 3-0. Redkay again, 29 assists. So he has 80 plus assists in 2 matches, both section wins for Garden Spot. Really, really impressive. He's a kid who's caught my eye here through the first week. Keegan Redkay stepping in for Jordan Martin, setting it for the Spartans. Good start for those guys. Tuesday night, I'll be at Central Mennonite. Thursday, I believe Steve Navaroli will be covering the Warwick Hempfield showdown. Volleyball.
Volleying.
Volleying.
Okay, that brings us to baseball, which is the sport I cover. And I'm going to give you 4 teams that have really been good so far, rather than mess with section races, which have not even taken shape yet. 4 teams that have really been good so far, 3 of whom we expected, 1 of whom is a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to start in Section 4, where Lancaster Catholic has won 6 straight section titles, but they have a new coach. They're 5-0, and they've scored 51 runs in 5 games, and everything seems to be okay in that for Lancaster Catholic, and I think they're a pretty overwhelming favorite in Section 4. What they have, they got good pitching, but what they have is a really good lineup and real strength up the middle on offense and defense. We told you about the Wingenroth brothers last week. Brandon, the shortstop, he's their number one pitcher. He's going to Penn State. He's a senior. He's hitting 600 with 11 RBIs so far. Wow. His brother Nathan, center fielder, a junior, going to Elon College after next year. He's hitting 553. The catcher, Will Cranford, multi-sport guy.
He's the quarterback.
Yeah. He's a catcher. He's hitting 643. He has 6 stolen bases in 5 games as a catcher.
Wow.
You don't see that every day. So it's a really solid lineup. All of those guys have OPSs like way over Babe Ruthian OPS. I mean, so they've been really good, and I think they're going to continue to be good in Section 4. Now, Manheim Central, let's talk about run prevention a little bit here. Manheim Central, they are 4-0. They've outscored their opponents 39-3.
Wow.
2 no-hitters already.
Wow.
One against Garden Spot, pitched by the combination of Connor Rohrer, Caden Connolly, and Jared Murray. And then the other night, in a game shortened to 5 innings by the 10-run rule, a blowout of Elko, Jared Murray pitched another no-hitter in which he struck out 15 in a 5-inning game.
Wow.
Can you do the math on that, folks?
Every one of them.
Everybody struck out for the opponent, which was Elko. One guy put the ball in play, and it resulted in an error, and he walked a couple guys. But other than that, that's a really good team. And again, really solid up the middle. The shortstop is Nolan Book, a sophomore, who is a brother of Colton Brook. The center fielder, Kai Watson, is a sophomore who is the son of Matt Watson. Remember the major leaguer who played for the Barnstormers and McCaskey graduate? That is a really good team, I think. Manheim Central is going to be solid all year. Warwick in Section 1. They lost their opener at Emmaus, 6-5. Since then, they've outscored their 3 opponents 30-1. They have these 2 stud pitchers that we knew about coming in, and they really are outstanding two-way players, Matt Seibert and Matt Williams. But they also, I saw them the other night, they beat Penn Manor 12-0, and Seth Adamnik threw a 1-hitter and hit a 3-run homer, and Williams hit a grand slam and had 6 RBI in that game. Wow. Warwick has been terrific so far. They go to Manheim Township Friday, they go to Manheim Central Saturday, and they go to LS Monday. So serious testing of the depth of the pitching on Warwick. Now, the team that's been a surprise so far, Donegal is 5-0. There's only a couple teams in the league that are 5-0. Donegal is one of them. And they've had 4 guys already, Nick Eichelberger, James Fabian, Caden Evans, and Johnny Holmes, who've all pitched, got wins, got them deep into the game, and their pitching has been really good and really deep so far. Now, Octorara, who also gave Manheim Central a good game the other night, gave them a good game on Friday of last week. But Donegal got through that one 2-1. I talked to their coach today, Jeff Hartman, and he said he hopes that their hitting catches up to their pitching. A lot of that is timing early in the year, cold weather, all that stuff. But so far, pretty happy with the work that these pitchers did over the winter to get better, and they're showing some benefits for that. They host Manheim Central on Friday. So baseball's heating up a little bit, and some teams have been almost dominant, you'd say, so far.
Those statistics like OPS and stuff like that, that's not on our website, right? You're just doing that off just looking at
I'm doing it and getting it from
attempts and
getting
all
it
that
from
stuff.
them,
Okay.
getting it from their backs preps.
So like, wow, look at you breaking down the numbers.
That kind of stuff.
High school baseball, good for you.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Hey, I wish we had more of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway.
Slugging.
Oh yeah, slugging. We love the slugging. Can't get enough of the slugging. Speaking of slugging, let's talk about tennis.
Good transition. Tennis. Shout out to Phil Glatfelder, one of our assistant copy editors who helps out on boys tennis in the spring season. For him, Phil had this information out of his notebooks. That's where I'm pulling it from. Elizabethtown, Section 1, they're off to a 6-1 start coming into the week. Their lone loss last week came against Lancaster Country Day, who, by the way, is really good, has two really good players. One of them you've heard of, Niall Abadir, who suffered his first loss of his high school career.
Somebody beat him?
Last week. I forget who it was, but it was in 5 games, and it was close.
An
Coach
LL
said
kid?
it was,
Really?
Coach said it was kind of a wake-up call, but it's Niall Abadir. He's going to be back. And speaking of which, this coming Friday, Lancaster Catholic goes to Lancaster Country Day. Catholic, George Brubaker and Niall are second cousins apparently, and then also a big time game coming up, match I should say, Elko at Donegal also on Friday. Should have section implications there, and boys tennis. That's my quick synopsis on the rackets.
Boy.
The rackets.
You have
Nothing
some,
but a racket.
Do you have track minute?
I do have track notes.
Go.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my goodness! I forgot. What a neglectful thing on my part. I forgot about
Track-
the thin clads.
Track
Go,
and
Joe,
field
go.
notes,
It
right?
is and field.
Let's
Don't
not
leave
forget
the
field.
kids that.
Shout out
do
to Steve
track and field.
Navaroli, our do-it-all freelancer, for this information on track and field, pulling a lot of this out of his notebook from this past week. So coming into the week, Steve talked about, go check out this story, Manheim Township. They came into the year having to replace a head coach. Mark Lynn was there for 41 years. As a result, they now have co-head coaches, Adam Kunsavage and Robin Sugarts. Both are former longtime Manheim Township assistants. And oh, by the way, the streaks, at least in the boys side, should be pretty good this year. Darren Kamoff won the indoor 400-meter dash over the winter. Tyler Stevens is a top distance runner, LSU recruit. He was one of the top cross-country runners in the LL League last fall. And Township also has a guy named Travis Wilk. He is a top hurdler. He was second in the 300 hurdles at districts last year. A couple notes pulling out of last week's meets. Elko's Colin Daub set a school record in the discus toss, 160 feet 11 inches. Donegal, girls side, Naya Bantam, she won 4 individual events in the Indians' win over Northern Lebanon last week. Naya Bantam, triple jump, 100 hurdles, 300 hurdles, and the javelin. So a handful of names just to kind of keep paying attention there moving forward here at the start of the spring track and field season.
She plays basketball.
All right. Have we covered everything, fellas?
That's all I have.
Yeah, that's all I got.
all I have.
Maybe we didn't cover everything, but that's all we got. All right. That's another edition of the LL Spring Sports Roundtable. For John Walk, for Jeff Reinhardt, I'm Mike Gross. And the show has been brought to you, as always, by Penn Medicine, Lancaster General Health Sports Medicine. See you later.